பயாலஜி இன் தமிழ் கோர்வை சேனல் சார்பாக அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். என் பெயர் கண்ணதாசன். In this video, I am going to present the concept double fertilization. Along with this, the main concept. We are also going to learn about obturator, interaction of pollen tube with style and ovule, and triple fusion. These are the concepts or objectives of this video, and it is better to take the notes at the highlighting areas so that you are able to remember it properly, and also in future you can revise it. And it is my personal advice to save this video and in the YouTube itself, and whenever you want you can go to the saved videos and you can select this video and learn. So this is the best method of learning and also revising the learnt portion. Now let us go into the video. Yesterday we discussed about the pollen pistil interaction and also the recognition and rejection reaction. Today we are going to discuss about pollen tube in the style. After germination of the pollen tube enters into the style, the pollen tube enters into the style from the stigma. The growth of the pollen tube in the style depends on the types of the style. There are three types of the style. One is hollow or open style. Second one is solid or closed style. Third one is semi-solid or off-closed style. The third one is the combination of both hollow and solid. First, let us see the hollow style. It is also called as open style. It is common among monocots. A hollow canal running from the stigma to the base of the style is present. The canal is lined by, you see, the canal is lined by a single layer of glandular canal cells. They are called as transmitting tissue. Now let us see in picture how it is present. Now you can see the hollow style. This is the style, this is the stigma, and this is the ovary. And here you can see the hollow. There is no cells or tissue present here. Some mucilaginous substance is present that is produced by the transmitting tissue. So the transmitting tissue of the pollen tube is the lining of the hollow style space, inner space. So the inner space is lined by the transmitting tissue, which is glandular in nature. It is producing the mucilaginous substance. These mucilaginous substance provide nutrients to the growing or elongating the pollen tube. The pollen tube utilize the nutrient present in the mucilaginous substance. So this type of style is called as hollow style, where the inner space is empty, it is not occupied by any cell. So this is called as hollow style. They secrete a mucilaginous substance. The pollen tube grows on the surface of the cells lining the stylar canal. The canal is filled with secretions. The secretions contain, you see, the composition of the secretions of hollow canal. The mucilaginous substance consists of carbohydrate, lipids, and some enzymes like esterases, acid phosphatases, as well as compatibility controlling proteins. So this area they can ask one question. Okay, what are the substances present, or what are the enzymes present in the secretions in the hollow stylar canal? They can ask esterases 1, acid phosphatases, as well as compatibility controlling proteins. So next one is the solid style, closed type. This is closed type. So as the name implies, it is filled with some cells. So the transmitting tissue is filled with some cells. Now let us go and see what is it. Now you can see this is the style, which consists of transmitting tissue. The tissue is made up of the cells. Here you can see. Okay, it is not empty space as we have seen it in the hollow type of style. Here it is filled with tissue. Okay, that is called as transmitting tissue. And pollen tube develop through the intercellular space. Pollen tube develop through the intercellular space. You see the space between the cells. So that is the major difference between the hollow type style and solid type style. And uh, if it is the third type, semi-solid style, half closed type, it means half of the style will be closed by the transmitting tissue cellular in nature, and half of the style will be it is filled with mucilaginous substance and it is not filled with any cells. Then it is called as semi-solid style or half closed type, right? Next, the different there is a difference of opinion on the nature of transmitting tissue. Some authors consider that it is found only in solid styles, while others consider the lining cells of hollow style also has transmitting tissue. So there is a dispute among the scientists. Entry of pollen tube into the ovule. So this is the next title, entry of pollen tube into the ovule. There are three types of pollen tube entry. There are three types of pollen tube entry. This is one of the 5 mark question we can say. So here first one is porogamy. Porogamy means when the pollen tube enters through the micropyle. So this is the micropyle, this is the micropyle through which if the pollen tube enters. So there is actually the micropyle is the opening through which the pollen tube should enter. So whatever it may be the type, ultimately the pollen tube enters through micropyle only. Please take note of it. This is very important point. Whether it is porogamy or chalosogamy or mesogamy, ultimately the pollen tube enters into the embryo, that is ovule, and the embryo sac through the micropyle only. Okay, so here it is porogamy because the pollen tube directly enters through the micropyle. Next one is chalosogamy. You see, this part is called as chalaza. You know very well. Just the portion of tissue which is opposite to the micropylar region is called as chalaza. So the pollen tube enters through the chalaza and that is growing along with the integument, the space between the integument and the embryo sac, and finally enter into the ovule and enter into the embryo sac through the micropyle only. So that is called as chalosogamy. Chalazo refers chalaza. Next one is mesogamy, right? Mesogamy. When the pollen tube enters through the integument, you see the pollen tube enters into the integument, enters through the integument here. Then it grows down and go through the micropyle only. The next one is entry of pollen tube into embryo sac. Entry of pollen tube into the embryo sac. So all the pollen tube now entering into the micropyle. So next it has to meet the embryo sac. Irrespective of the place of entry of pollen tube into the ovule, it enters embryo sac at the micropylar end only. Irrespective of that point to be noted. So the pollen enters into the embryo sac directly into one of the synergids. One of the synergids. And you know very well what are synergids. So here there are three cells in which one is egg cell, and other two cells are synergid cells. Here these are the antipodal cells and these are the polar nuclei. Once the polar nuclei join together and it forms the secondary nucleus and it is diploid in nature. Okay, now the pollen tube enters first through the synergids. So that is what here it is told. Okay, embryo sac due to the presence of the growth of pollen tube towards the ovary. Synergids. Here we finished. The pollen enters into the embryo sac directly into one of the synergids. The growth of pollen tube towards the ovary, ovule, and embryo sac is due to the presence of chemotrophic substance. Chemotrophic substances mean the substance which attracts the pollen tube growth, right? That is called as chemotrophic. It is attracted by some biochemical substances or there which attracts the pollen tube towards the particular direction. That is the meaning of chemotrophic substance. The pollen tube, after traveling the whole length of the style, enters into the ovary locule where it is guided towards the micropyle. It knows where the micropyle is present. That is the how it is guided with the help of obturator. With the help of obturator. Now what is obturator? Let us see. Obturator. So do you know portion of the obturator? Obturator may originate from different regions of the ovule. Obturator is the tissue specialized cells or specialized tissue which is responsible to direct the pollen tube into the micropyle so that it go and fertilize the egg. Okay, so but the obturator origin may differ. That is the do you know portion here. It may be from the placenta. Obturator may be present from the placenta. In the case of Euphorbiaceae, obturator originate from funiculus in the case of Anacardiaceae, and it may originate from the style itself in the case of Thymilaceae, and ovary wall in Otilia alismoides. Otilia alismoides. Okay, now let us see. Now you see obturator. This is the obturator here. This is the funicular portion. This is the funicle. This is the ovule. This is the embryo sac. Now the pollen tube comes this side. The obturator directs the pollen tube to go into the embryo micropyle, go through the micropyle to go to the embryo sac, to reach the embryo sac. This is the obturator. So this is funicular origin. Obturator. Okay. Next one is obturator origin from placenta in the case of Euphorbiaceae family, funiculus in the case of Anacardiaceae family, style in the case of Thymilaceae family, ovary wall Otilia alismoides. It is Otilia alismoides is not a family but it is a plant name. Its common name is duck lettuce. Also it belongs to the family called as tape grass family. Tape grass family. Okay, and in Tamil it is called as Neer Kuliri. Neer Kuliri. Okay, so these are the points about the obturator. Now, obturator is over here. So the question may be asked that is based on the obturator after reaching the embryo sac. Right? What is reaching the embryo sac? Pollen tube is reaching the embryo sac. A pore is formed in the pollen tube. It means pore means opening in order to discharge all its content. Okay, wall at its apex or just behind the apex. The content of the pollen tube, two male gametes, vegetative nucleus and cytoplasm. Okay, so these are the content of the pollen tube, two male gametes, vegetative nucleus and cytoplasm are discharged into the synergids. So first we already learnt the pollen tube enters into the synergids only, into which the pollen tube enters. The pollen tube does not grow beyond it. The pollen tube does not grow beyond this synergid. Once it is discharging all this content into the synergids, that's all. It is not further growing in the embryo sac. The tube nucleus disorganizes. The tube nucleus disorganizes. That is, the vegetative nuclei disorganizes. Right. Next, double fertilization and triple fusion. S.G. Navashchin and L. Gulganot in 1898 and 1899 observed in Lilium and Fritillaria. Fritillaria means it belongs to the family Liliaceae, and it is called as Kaiser's crown. It is called as Kaiser's crown. That is the Fritillaria. In both these, the male gametes released from a male gametophyte are involved in the fertilization. Okay. Are involved in the fertilization. Both the male gametes are involved in the fertilization. They fertilize two different components of the embryo sac. Two different components. What are the two different components? Come to this picture here. It is very clear. This is the pollen tube carries the two male gametes. Okay, both the male gametes are haploid in nature. Make it very clear. Okay, then here in the ovule, within the embryo sac, egg cell is present. And also secondary nucleus is present. Secondary nucleus is formed. It is diploid in nature. You see, it is formed by the fusion of two haploid nuclei. Formed by the fusion of two haploid polar nuclei. The polar nuclei, one from each pole, reaches the center, and they fuse together and form secondary nucleus. Okay, so the secondary nucleus is present at the center and egg is present at one pole through the micropylar end. Now one male gamete fertilize the egg and form the form the zygote, and here it forms the endosperm. That is, this haploid male gamete joins with the secondary nucleus. So here three nuclei are joining. That is the reason why it is called as triple fusion, this area. So once they are joining, they become the endosperm nucleus. They become the endosperm nucleus. It is triploid in nature. On the other side, the two that is nuclei. One is male gamete and another one is egg cell joining together and form zygote. Zygote develops into embryo. You see, the zygote develops into embryo. This is the embryo portion. Okay, this is the embryo portion developing within the seed. The entire ovule develops into the seed within which the embryo is present. The secondary gamete migrates to the central cell where it fuses with the polar nuclei or their fusion product. The secondary nucleus and forms the primary endosperm nucleus, PEN. Please remember PEN, P, and primary endosperm nucleus. Primary endosperm nucleus, what is the ploidy condition? The ploidy condition of the primary endosperm nucleus is triploid because it involves the three nuclei, fusion of three nuclei, triple fusion. Since this involves the fusion of three nuclei, the phenomenon is called as triple fusion. This act result in endosperm formation, which form the nutritive tissue. Endosperm form the nutritive tissue for the embryo. Okay, now this is the post fertilization changes in the flower of an angiosperm. So what happened to this flower? The flower consists of four floral whorls in which petals and sepal shriveling and falling off. Then androecium also falls off. What happened to the ovary? Ovary become fruit. What happened to the ovule? Ovule becomes seed. Seed consists of on one side embryo. It develops into root and shoot system, and other side nutritive tissue is present for the germination, that is called as endosperm. Okay, now the fruit, you see, the fruit carries the seed. The seed consists of the following parts. You see, the cotyledon. The cotyledon consists of the nutrients. Okay, which supply the nutrient to the developing embryo or germinating embryo. Plumule is going to become, it is the that is embryonic shoot. Radicle is the embryonic root. Testa is the outer covering of the seed. So the seed again produce the new plant. So this is what we can understand as the post fertilization changes in the flower of an angiosperm. So this is the end of this video, student. If you like this video, please press the like button, share this video to your friends, comment on it, subscribe our channel. Please press the bell icon to receive the notification. So this is the end of the video, student. Thank you very much for listening.